this happened just a couple days ago in Nashville at Antioch High School. And, you know, we talk about school shootings that make the news typically just because they're normally a big story. And like I said at the top, this is one of the weirdest ones I have ever dug into. Give you some of the details first. Associated Press reported, Solomon Henderson, a black 17-year-old student at Antioch High School, shot and killed Josselin Corea Escalante, who was 16 and Hispanic, in the school's cafeteria on Wednesday, then turned the gun on himself.
He shot one person.
He shot one person.
Okay.
Another student was grazed in the arm, but this is Josselin, who was a 16-year-old victim. Tragic. Just because there's one victim doesn't mean it's not an enormous tragedy, but this is Solomon Henderson. I took liberty this time of censoring a lot of his images because we have to show him a lot to show what the details of this case are. But I don't want to glorify this piece of filth.
Okay.
He shot a girl at his high school. It's disgusting. Continuing from the Associated Press, anti-hate analysts quickly identified dozens of pages believed to have come from Henderson, filled with calls for violence and racist comments, including neo-Nazi and white supremacist ideologies, expression of shame that he was black, and praise for specific people who carried out well-known shootings. This little compilation here I have, he recreated photos posing like other infamous school shooters.
And did he post them anywhere, Connor?
These were posted all over his social media.
I don't understand, bro. I said bitch in a Facebook post, and it was flagged, and I've been getting in trouble for so much crap. That's ridiculous, Rob.
Yeah, but Vinny, obviously, words have impact and meaning, and you could have hurt somebody's feelings. with
But the
that
other thing,
bitch.
Vinny, is that
Sorry.
your account is probably much more high profile than this kid's obscure.
yeah.
And it's not just X. It's like it's Discord. It's Reddit. It's all these other things that are not really on the beaten path of where people look at social media.
Is there no algorithm set in place?
Patriot Act. What the hell's
Brent, I'm so freaking happy you took the words out of my mouth. When the Patriot Act happened, bro, if you say Allah, bomb, Al Qaeda, ISIS, it triggers and it records your shit. I don't think people realize. So Connor, they let shit like this happen. There's no freaking way he's posting that type of imagery and that type of rhetoric, and it's not being no. There's no way.
That was the agreement we made. If we're gonna give up that level of privacy, then you better stop everything.
Stop everything. Why?
Yeah.
But they never do.
But
No.
that's the trade-off, remember?
Yeah.
Those who trade liberty for security deserve neither.
Good
We
boy.
have received neither.
Hell no.
So if we can go back to that compilation of photos of him real quick. There's the guy who shot up Sandy Hook, the guy who shot up Virginia Tech, but I want to call attention to the one on the lower right-hand corner because you might remember that photo if you've been watching The Unusual Suspects for longer than a month. That is Natalie Samantha Rupnow, who shot up Abundant Life Christian School in December of last year. And it seems like they knew each other,
Oh, are you
or
serious?
at least interacted online. Henderson's social media presence shows that he may have been in contact with 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who opened fire at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin last month, according to law enforcement. Rupnow's account may have been following Henderson's account at the time of the Wisconsin shooting. So it seems like these two not only committed similar crimes, but may have been in some sort of communication or at least followed each other. So some of the photos he was recreating are the ones she posted of, you know, herself in the bathroom before she came out and did it. And that's, you know, just surface level, very odd. But it gets way, way darker. He left behind writings as well. And if you'll remember, there was another shooting in Nashville not too long ago, the Covenant Christian School, where a deranged transgender girl went in and killed 3 children and 3 adults. And we're still trying to get that full manifesto.
Yep.
The judge blocked the release of it under copyright law, saying the parents of the victims hold copyright, so any publication is technically a copyright
Doesn't make
violation.
any sense.
It's
You never read a
absolute
movie.
insanity. But basically, the goal is just to prevent the diary of a deranged trans person from coming out and explaining exactly what we already knew, which was targeting white people and Christians.
Yeah.
This one, though, because it checks some of the right narrative boxes, is almost fully available. The Tennessee Star, which also did reporting on the Covenant School shooting, has some of the details here. 2 documents obtained by the Star include both a 51-page manifesto and a 288-page diary, both containing photographs that appear to depict Henderson, as well as anti-Semitic and racist rants, with the latter primarily targeting black people. He writes at the beginning, this book is dedicated to the death of all N-word enemies, death to Israel. Later on, he writes death to Palestine, death to all Semitic people groups. This book is dedicated to killing the lesser races and taking their women. If we go to the next slide here, his whole thing is plastered with the most
Look at my face right in the middle.
lunatic, yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh my God, you're going to get shot.
I'm going to get
Yes.
shot. I'm going to get blood on
Wow.
my face.
So he has images. He wrote an FAQ section.
What?
Like, why did you do this? For your enjoyment. This is my gift to you after years of Fed posting, wasting years grieving, yelling N-word at the top of my lungs in voice calls to streamers. Are you a Nazi? No, actual Nazis have been dead for 80 years. That's almost a century. Anyone in the modern world claiming to be a Nazi is a LARPer, but they do have my sympathies. And then an image of a transgender soy jack shooting a Nazi. But if we go over to this other column on the right-hand side, are you a white supremacist? No, I'm a golden N-word. It wouldn't make any sense for me to be one. I can't be a white supremacist. What a retarded question. I mean, he does have a point on that one.
He's
You
nuts,
can't
yeah.
really have black white supremacists.
Yeah.
Are you a black
unless you're Dave Chappelle.
I
in the-
guess.
yeah.
Or if
But
you
then
identify as
also,
white.
like, look, are you a black supremacist? No, I would be if N-words weren't so, whatever, and can work on something together. What motivated you to commit the acts of violence? Misanthropy for only very specific groups and races. Hatred of N-words. What do you wish for? A better, neater, cleaner world by eliminating all undesirables. We must aid the Aryans regardless of our race.
Jeez.
Oh my
So,
God.
like, obviously, like, it's barely literate how it's written. So you can tell this 16, 17-year-old kid was just completely out of his mind.
Yeah. And nobody, like,
But-
here's my thing,
yeah.
Connor. How do you, as a parent, as his friends, as his relatives, how do you not, there's no way he's living a placid, regular life, and that's behind the scenes. There's no way.
Of course not. You would assume that any parent that's halfway paying attention would
Of
be able
course.
to pick
It's
up on
always
something
going to
like
be the
this.
parents.
Funnily enough, there was another line he included in there about how, here it is. No matter what Joe Biden tells you, handguns have killed more people than AR-15s ever will. He wrote that
That's so
before a shooting he committed with a pistol.
That's so
because
funny.
that was his whole point. Like, no existing gun law could have stopped him from having this. The firearm was illegally obtained. They don't know where exactly it came from, but he was already underage and shouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
He was not at a point where he could have been in possession of this legally. So no existing gun law would have stopped it. The fact that he had it proves that it was already a messed up system. But the Wikipedia page on this, again, reiterates the fact that the narrative is already in. If you look at the last line there, the shooter's online history shows that he praised mass shooters, had far-right beliefs,
Yeah, weird.
and claimed to know the perpetrator of the Abundant Life Christian School shooting online.
Well, the far right.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was far gone. It wasn't
Yeah,
the right or left.
there's no, and that actually gets to the part of the point I wanted to make here, is this is the danger of trying to apply political alignment to just pure evil. In the same way, Axel Rudacabana, the Southport stabber that we talked about, Vinny, during your segment, he was just evil. He wasn't a liberal. He wasn't a conservative. He wasn't, members of any political group. That doesn't matter. What matters is that he is evil.
That's
He
it.
is a wicked, evil person. Same as this. But the ADL did a full assessment of it. And, I can't mention the ADL without mentioning that an organization exists to defend the life and legacy of a Jewish rapist. But here we go. I mean, at least they're able to, sort of have a point on this one, talking about how, it's... our analysts located a sprawling manifesto full of anti-black content, references to acceleration and anti-Semitism. It is also plagiarized from various far-right manifestos and publications, including Terragram Collective and a manifesto by a guy who was arrested in 2022 for making a mass shooting threat against the University of California. So this thing is pulled from every crazy part of the internet. And if you remember when Amy covered the shooting in Wisconsin on the girl that it seems like he knew, she was the same thing. Amy, do you remember some of the details you went over there?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that we focused on with that one was that a lot of people were claiming the shooter was trans. Were they not trans? The main focus that I wanted to put on that particular piece was the incidence of these SSRIs. That so many of these, not just school shooters, but mass shooters, when you look into it, they are medicalized in some way, whether that be through cross-sex hormones, puberty blockers, or SSRIs, which are like serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which just completely reprogram your mind and your neurochemistry. Like it takes the human out of so many people. That's what I specifically remember covering on that segment.
That's pretty much the
Perfect.
case because no one who's this crazy wasn't on some kind of medication.
Right.
And I'm sure that will come out. Facts are evolving as we learn. But this thing right towards the end is really, I think, why we were allowed to know about this when we weren't allowed to know about Nashville. Is there a particular group or particular groups or people that radicalize you the most? Candace Owens, Ethan Ralph, Nick Fuentes, Turkey Tom, Ruben Sim, Mr. Beast, Cobson Talks, Wayne Lambright, iDubbbz, Destiny, Hassan Piker. To expand on this, Candace Owens has influenced me above all. Each time she spoke, I was stunned by her insights and her own views, helped push me further and further into the beliefs of violence over the Jewish question, along with Turkey Tom and Ruben Sim pushing me to the alt-right pipeline. We're taught violence and extremism by video games, music, literature, or cinema. Yes, following music called Incel Core, Shooter Core taught me to kill Kanye West, and playing games like Counter-Strike Go, Manhunt, and so on, which I've played some of these games. Like Skylanders is like a little kid's game, so I have no idea how that pushed you into being a shooter. But look at that list. Oh, a guy who had left a bunch of racist writings mentioned Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens as his inspiration. And there you go. There's the narrative. That's all we need to know. They both responded to it, actually. Candace said yesterday, I've received information that the Antioch shooter was 100% a domestic violence situation in which the student committed a targeted murder-suicide. The other student was allegedly just in the way. I believe that's the one who got hit and escaped. If this proves true and people intentionally painted this tragedy as a mass shooting with a manifesto to score political points, it's going to be hell to pay. Nick Fuentes talked about a black teen brought a gun to school and shot people. Stay asleep. He mentioned Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes in his racist manifesto. Eyes wide open, and everybody's paying attention. But you see the narrative. You see what they're trying to create. Of look, it's another far right white supremacist shooter. It doesn't matter that this one.
Then why did he mention
black
Destiny and Hassan in the same breath as well?
I don't know, and that's the point, because trying to apply a political side to unhinged apolitical evil doesn't make any sense. But I mean, that's clearly what they're going for. Clearly, they're already calling him a white supremacist, even though not only did he write he wasn't, but he's black.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob?
I think we have 2,003 people watching, so despite douchebags like Michael Swadbag saying I'm cringe, fuck you, Michael, I don't care.
Yeah, Michael, shut up.
I do appreciate the other 2,002 people that are watching, so thank you. Make sure that you like and subscribe while you're here.
I was laughing at that. Why, you haven't even spoken in like 10 minutes.
I was looking, to be honest, I was doing something for work, and I wasn't even commenting. So I was like, how am I cringe?
How many people made fun of my accent today?
No, people.
Probably a lot.
I guarantee you people are like, I want Amy. I know you perverts.
Oh, yeah.
But then they just yell
over
at me for my accent. I'm sorry, guys. I can't help that I sound like that.
You know what they love? They love when you say the word no, apparently. I've been reading and paying attention to you guys. They love no.
Yeah.
Can you say it?
Do it.
No.
Yes. I think it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But Rob, anything else? So Rob, do you think that that's one of the reasons that this thing is actually out in the public is because of Candace Owens' name and Nick Fuentes' name is out there?
Yeah, it becomes a tool for them to then try and, hey, look at how dangerous the right is.
Yeah.
Look at the people who follow the right and what they do. But this isn't a new thing. What sucks is that I didn't even hear about the school shooting until Connor brought it up. And so, you know, how old were you when Columbine happened? Were you still in school? Do you remember? None of you guys.
Columbine was 92?
97 or 98?
I was in the military.
Not
I
born
graduated
It was 97, I was born.
I was too.
Okay. So you were in the military. I was in 7th grade, and I remember watching Columbine happen. It was on every news channel. It was like the 9/11 of school shootings because it was on CNN, Fox. Every channel was focused. And then I remember being in college when the Virginia Tech shooting happened, and it was 24-hour news coverage of when things like this happen. And it's like, what, did not enough people die to get news coverage for this story now that you only hear about it on independent media and podcasting? Or is it because we've become so desensitized to these types of things that the news works on if it bleeds, it leads. But if the people are so desensitized to something, then what's the incentive for them to watch? What's the incentive for the news to report on it? So it goes unreported, and these poor people end up getting the victims of gun violence, and nobody ever talks about it.
It's a little bit of both, I think. And not to grant Nick Fuentes some kind of a point there, but the thing he was arguing is statistically true, that the vast majority of gun violence on school campuses is carried out by black students who are typically the giant group of kids gets into a fight. One kid runs out to his backpack and shoots another kid. That's classified as a school shooting. The ones they talk about are the weird white incel loner kid who brought an AR-15 to school and killed a bunch of people. And they conflate the two. When they tell you there's been, X amount of school shootings this year, they're counting all the ones that are fights that escalate to gun violence that are overwhelmingly committed by minority students, but they never tell you that. They only want to show you the images of, look at these, poster boy, if
Well, you know what
for
it
lack of
is?
a better term, of the white gunman who
They have
blows
certain
away
narratives they want to
school.
run with, though. Like in the thing with House of Cards, where they're like, "Yeah, we need this type of crime," and they jump on it when there's the school shooting, when the teachers are on protest. They have shit like that. Like they're waiting for certain narratives or certain opportunities for narratives, and they just jump on it whenever it happens.
Yeah, they monitor police scanners and like, okay, we need somebody's gonna die of drunk driving today, or
Tell me
or
when a white guy
shooting.
shoots up a school, we
Yeah,
can jump on
like
that.
just let's stay on the radio once. And by the way, this isn't Washington or New York or any of these freaking places. They're like, listen, let me know when somebody gets killed in this way. We're jumping on it. We're sending the media. Bro,
Yeah.
it's such an easy and effective game plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.